As I've quoted before, said, free your mind and your behind will follow. And when you get your mind free, then you truly free. I'm almost done, but the Bible says don't partner with them. Some of us have partnered with them. If you're a biblical literalist, you one step from a white supremacist. Riggins Earl, the great ethicist, would often come in class, take the Bible, throw it on the ground at a seminary, and he said, that's a comic book until you do something with it. It's a comic book, the way white supremacists have interpreted it. But do you know some Negroes use Billy Graham as their standard? Franklin Graham as their measure, Joel Osteen as their preacher, and Donnie Swaggart as their inspiring worship leader. You Negroes need know better than that. You've internalized white supremacy. You are white supremacists by ventriloquism. Your black mouth is open, but their white ideas are flowing through it. You Clarence Thomas, you Byron Long, you Tim Scott. You in church, when you don't like people who ain't like you smuggling white supremacy in too. The Bible says don't partner with them, you partnering with them. You don't like no gay people. You ain't even got no reason to not like gay people. You don't like transgender. You believe in transubstantiation. When you take the cracker, turn it into Christ, and the wine into the water, the wine into his blood, cracker into Christ. I think we should do that more often. Y'all sitting up here, I don't like no woman preaching. Been preaching to you since you've been born. Ain't that something? Black women been saving the day since the day was long. Black women been rising up, speaking, praying for you, asking God to spare you. When you mistreated her, she prayed for you. She cleaned your dirty drawers. She put you on the right path. She cooked your food. Gave you inspiration to be who you are. Now you can't vote for her? Come on, y'all. I don't believe most black men are against her. We the second biggest demographic that supports her. First, black women, and then black men. Now we got some ignorant knuckleheads out there thinking they the man because they think they run stuff, and they think that other dude got swag. His swag is borrowed. He got his swag on the layaway. He ain't got no swag. He's got indifference to cool. He ain't got no sense of understanding. He has to grab things and wrestle them to the ground. He has to rape, pillage, and plunder. He has to insult. He knows nothing about the coolness of black masculinity. He knows nothing about the style that we possess. And he ain't gave you no check. That's from Congress. But he's the only narcissistic, malignantly self-involved president that wanted to put his name on the check. He can't even balance his own checkbook. Don't partner with them. And some of us got stained glass white Jesus on the wall to match the stain in our mind and heart, the trauma we endure, the hatred we perpetuate against the other, you ain't got no business hating on nobody because of their sex, because of their class, because of their race, because of their gender, because of their sorority or fraternity or what gang they in. You better raise up and understand that you got to be awake. And when you wake up, God, it says, will shine on you. And when God shines on you, can't no darkness extinguish that light. White brothers and sisters, to demonize wokeness, to see it as a pejorative. When Frederick Douglass said that in slavery, the greatest sin we could commit to the white overseer and the white slave lord was oversleeping. So now that we want to get awake, they mad at us too. What's interesting is that oversleeping was an index of the exhaustion we suffered under the cruel hand of enslavement. But do you know that Thomas Jefferson said the rapid descent into sleep was an index of black inferiority? Now, he said, on the one hand, contradictorily, that black folk don't need that much sleep, that you can work them all day and into the night. But he saw our rapid descent into sleep as a sign that we were intellectually inferior. Now, it ain't got nothing to do, I guess, with working 19 hours a day. And then along came a Samuel Cartwright, who is a scientist, came up with the term dysesthesia ethiopica. They will come up with some big words to try to justify what we are. A black sleeping that was peculiar to black folk. And he said that our dysesthesia ethiopica was a sign of our inferiority because we weren't able to go well into the night as white people were. And Thomas Jefferson said this, pursuing their intellectual and creative pursuits. Well, I guess you could pursue your intellectual pursuit and your creative pursuit when you ain't got to work, when you ain't got to do nothing. If we had all day to do what we want, imagine where we would be as black people right now. My brothers and sisters, that's why we're looking for overtime from what we did during enslavement. Now they are suggesting that being woke is the problem. But the problem is there's a sleep gap, even in black America right now. Do you know most of us don't get the same kind of quality sleep that white folk get? And that is because the environment of sleep is centuries old. In the transatlantic slavery, we were put together in close quarters, in chains to sleep on top of each other. Then when we got to the New World, we were made to sleep on bare floors or chained to each other. The environment of sleep has transmitted itself genetically, coded into our DNA, where we don't get the same kind of sleep. There is let's call it a slumberocracy. The tyranny of sleeplessness is an indictment of white supremacy in a culture that overworked black people. That's why Sister Tricia Hersey has a book talking about nap ministry. And her point is that rest is, and restoration is resistance to an obligation of a capitalist society to keep producing at the expense of our health.